Party people, what is really good? This is episode 125. I regret doing that. We're going to have some fun in this episode. I don't know. I blacked out. I don't even know what I talked about, to be honest with you. Let's see. Well, before we get into that, let's do the cleanup stuff, all right? If you haven't subscribed to the podcast and you're still looking it up every time you want, don't do that. That's silly. Just hit the subscribe button. And then if you want to leave a review, you can leave a bad review. You can leave a good review. If you want to put your words and some stars underneath the app and the podcast itself, we'd appreciate it. Now, if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, we've been putting a lot of love into that YouTube channel. Andrew and Paul have been creating this beautiful little setup and just saturating their talent all through the lenses, right? So we have some fun. Go over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, comment on some of the shorts and the videos. We would love and appreciate that. This episode, we talk about how everything always works out for me. It's really, really fun to talk about. We talk about letting go of preferences, not knowing if something good or something is bad, and relying on and dancing with this greatest power in the universe called God or universe or nature that is ineffable, unable to put into words. I get into the Vedic worldview a little bit and talk about my meditation practice, what it's done for me, and the worldview behind it upon meditating and then going out and getting involved in the world. That's pretty much it. It was really, really fun. We shot from the hip, and thank you for listening. Again, this is episode 125. If you like it, share it. Peace.
What's the eternal principle?
But one.
Which is?
Well, we call it God, but that personifies it.
Episode 125. What is going on, party people? We're back at it. It's a long wait now that it's only 2 episodes a month, but it's very much necessary because, I was just losing my mind a little bit, and now we're getting fully set up with making all gear in-house, one-on-ones, and just printing everything myself, man. So I'm really excited about that. I just stumbled upon a graphic designer through a friend who has worked with screen printing shops before, so he knows what time it is as far as like how I need things to look, the files, the separate, all this stuff that you probably don't care about. But anyways, things are just falling into place, which is how it always goes for me. I know. It's probably really fucking annoying to hear, but everything always works out for me. Always. I literally do not have to worry about anything ever. Do I still do that? Absolutely, dude. Do I still create hell in my mind and suffer there under the demons that I create myself? Yes, I always do that, dude. But as long as we land back in the truth of uni is always taking care. Universe is always laying out the red carpet. Yerd, snap, pose for the picture, celeb status. You know what I mean? Get this the fuck out of here, dude. You think I care, bro? Thumbs up from Drewski, man. Thumbs up from Drewski. Dude, like I remember when people said that shit when I was, just coming into the whole spiritual life and recovery and all this stuff. And the moment you hear that, like someone's like, oh, everything always works out for me. I'm not worried about anything. And it's like, oh, cool, dude. I hope you go home and your fucking house is on fire because I'm dying over here, It's like that's the last thing you want to hear when your life is in shambles of how easy everything is for somebody else. But now I get to say it to you. Now, I'm not saying that I'm void of problems and issues. It's just that despite all of my... Despite the worried thoughts that I can land in and the stress or wondering if things are going to work out or the pain and the growth and the lessons that I learn, no matter how much I may think I'm fucking things up in the moment, it's always gotten a flower pulled out of it. Always. I can think that it's a pile of ash and uni just takes care of it. God goes, I got you. Shh, here's a flower, right? Because I made this deal with God. I made this deal with uni. And it is, I just want to be a good man, try the best I can to be a good person, help people without interfering or fussing in their life, and just try to bring okayness, love, and joy to like whoever I run into, and do my best. And then, you, God, in me, through me, above me, but all that, you take care of my finances. You put the right people in my path. You increase my money when it's on you. You change my job. You give me the home. You present the relationship with this amazing woman, right? You do that because and I'm not saying that you fucking put your feet up and don't do anything, right? It's not like, oh, I'm just going to sit in my house and fucking pray and love my life. And if I say the proper prayer, job, Indeed is going to knock on my door and deliver a job. That's not what I'm saying at all, right? What I'm saying is we give 150% effort and the outcome is on God, right? Like I'm going to be moving in a couple months, right? I got to find a new spot. So what had happened was when I figured that out, I mean, I knew it was coming. This isn't a surprise or anything like that. I've been at this incredible fucking spot for 2 years. I got a ton of space. We're able to record here, set up a studio. I got a garage where I can get creative and make and, get out t-shirts and all this stuff. It's been absolutely amazing. So I'm not fretting, I'm not worried, and I'm not upset that I have to move. However, my first inclination, once it was written in stone that, springtime we're going to move, I got right on Zillow, reached out to my friends who are real estate agents, got right on Apartment Finder, got right on this, trying to figure out how much money, when is it good, blah, 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 blah. Just spun up. So my motive, my intention wasn't coming from a place of like, oh, I wonder what God's got in store for me next. It was coming out of a place of worry and fear. Let me put this on D&D real quick. Heavy D&D guy. So anyways, it was coming out of a place of like worry and fret, and I got to get it, and it was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, how much money, and like, I'm thinking about like all my bills and is my rent going to, all this stuff, and like, oh my God, I'm going to be renting a house, I'm fucking burning money, all this stuff. Oh, I don't know how long I'm going to be in Florida, but like that, dude. And all it was a little sliver of change was introduced to my life. And my self-will or human, cells goes, oh, gotta do something, man. I need to wrestle satisfaction out of this world. I gotta manage. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, now you probably think I'm an idiot because you'd be like, well, of course you got to go on Zillow and find a house. And I'm not saying you fucking don't. All I'm saying was I took a step back and it was like, damn, what's my motive here? And like, I'm kind of on like a worry streak. And I've never gotten proper answers or solutions when I'm operating out of fear. So I stepped back, realized that I was out of my agreement with God, remembered what the agreement was, which was you take care of all this. My job is to stay in absolute joy. And if I'm in that vibration, if I'm in that frequency, I don't have to fret Because when I go on Zillow or when I run into a real estate agent or when my friend realizes that I'm looking for a spot and he goes, oh, dude, that's so crazy because my cousin, he was living at this house for a little bit and he's moving out now. Let me see if you can move right. That shit happens all the time to me, all the time, where it's like, like the fucking rules don't apply to me. And that sounds so egocentric to say. I get it, dude, but that's not how I'm trying to come off. When you make this type of agreement with God, man, with God, with the universe, with the greatest power you can't even fathom. It's ineffable. I can't put it into words. When you start devoting your life to getting saturated in that source of God and staying there and living there and making that agreement where your only loyalty is to be a good person in each moment, sprinkled throughout each 24 hours, stack on a few months, stack on a few years, you got a different fucking life. That's vision and intent. Vision, I have a vision of this agreement and I'm going to intentfully live it out. When you make loyalty to getting involved in knowing how your God, your conception of God lives and breathes in your life, that's the only thing that I ever wanted, man, you know? And the collateral beauty of that is you get to look at a camera, a room full of people and say, everything always works out for me, which is annoying to hear. But I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, from a guy that was just dying slowly on the streets in multiple different states and collision and catastrophe everywhere I went, and I was painting the town red. It was almost like I was drenched in red paint, like a tornado, right? Roaring through the lives of other people. And anything I came into contact with was left marked red. And that's not my life anymore. That's not my life. The color has changed. Thank God. I didn't get to pick the color. I just devoted my life to doing whatever it took and continue to take whatever action I need to stay as far away from the red as possible, right? And then a new color comes in. We'll call it blue. And then the motive is no longer not becoming and not ever entertaining the red anymore. It's the excitement and the enthusiasm of this relationship with the blue. And then you're no longer spinning and the blue is just spinning off, hitting people, hitting things. It's like it's part of you. So it's like when you move and you speak and you touch and you go places and you meet people, you have an affect. You pick things up. The blue is a receiver and a giver. The red is just taker, and destroyer, right? And so like when you start to like live in this manner, you realize like, I'm not really doing much. I'm honestly really not, I'm really not doing much, man. You know? And anytime I try to do things, it's not like, hey man, what would happen if you really did your best? What would happen if you really tried hard? I'm talking about the try where it's like, I'm going to fucking get this thing. I'm going to get this square peg. It's just the edges. I'm just seeing the edges wrong. I'm going to get this square peg in the round. That's the try I'm talking about. There's a difference between proper effort and efficiency and self-propulsion and just mowing through shit, right? And I don't want to live that way. I don't want to live that way because there's not much peace inside of me when I live that way, which means I'm not bringing much peace to others and taking in peace from others. because I'm so wrapped up in my shit. And I'm just not creating the life that I want. My creation, my creator mechanism is off, And man, just everything is so fucking easy. And I've been and go through seasons of pain all the time. But in the light of everything, when you zoom out and you kind of look at your little fucking self, right? Oh, this little human, blah, blah, blah. He's got all these plans and designs and worries. Oh my God, where is he going to live? And he likes her, and fuck this guy. He doesn't like him and he doesn't want to go here, but he wants to go. He got all these little preferences, this little character popping around. Blah, blah, blah. And you take a second to like zoom out a little bit and you realize that you're on a rock, the third one from the sun, spinning around, upside down, constant revolutions, constant state of change in the middle of a solar system, which is in the middle of a Milky Way galaxy, which is in the middle of the universe, which is in the middle of who the fuck knows. So we're literally living in a state of who fucking knows. So why do I take the responsibility to get peace and levity out of me? Because if I can really get that down in my cells and know that that same infinite nature of the universe is in the trillions of cells in my body, then why am I taking my thoughts and my life and everything so seriously? Well, because I'm human, right? That's what we do. And because you've been a little banged up with all the drugs you did for a long time, right? So we have a little more scar to deal with. At any rate, my whole point is that I go through the pain, I get smacked in the face with the depression, the fear grabs me by the throat, and it's okay. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. It doesn't mean that I turn into a mean, inconsiderate person. It just means that I'm going through something, that I'm in a season, that winter's got me. And winter looks that way because winter looks that way right now. And that is either okay with me or it's not okay with me. If it's okay with me, I can lean into the discomfort, let the winter pass through. Here comes spring, everybody. Or I can be pissed about it, resist it, cry, yell about it, and keep winter dropping snow over me for longer than I want, because all I can do is focus on what I don't want to be in, which is a winter, right? So when I say everything always works out for me and everything's completely easy and God always provides, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Period. Always does. Never not does he do that. It's effortless. It doesn't absolve me from the range of human emotion and struggle. It doesn't absolve me of that. What it does for me is I'm now rooted in this unshakable foundation or baseline where I know no matter how crazy the play is right now, this drama of life, the opera, Romeo and Juliet, and all this play, the audience likes it, the audience doesn't like it. Shakespeare wants me to do this guy's taking my lines, I should be the fucking star of the play, right? All this crazy human little stuff. Underneath that, I know that God is God, and I'm just navigating the drama of life. And my mind takes it really, really seriously sometimes. But I know that the bounce back is there. The bounce back always comes. Like Big Sean, what's that song? Last night I took it, but today I bounced back. Bounce Bounce back, man. The bounce back is always there. I forget all the time. I forget all the time that I have this baseline of okayness, that I'm rooted in God, that I'm rooted in the greatest power that anyone could ever conceive of. Like, we don't even know what the hell's going on. What does this language mean? What is this body? There are cells. I'm looking at you, understand that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, right? But here we are communicating, dancing in this little drama of life, right? This 80-year, if you're lucky, arcade game. Because it really is all fun and games. It really is all fun and games until we go back to whoever created the game in the first place. Anyways, I'm getting off script. Not that there is one. Just because you can get smacked in the face with life and go through pain and hardship does not mean you have to lose your faith and foundation in the knowing that God's got you no matter what, that you're good no matter what. Even especially in the seasons where you don't understand, you're really confused, you're a little scared, but what changes is you're not moving your action because of fear anymore. You're accepting the fact that maybe you're a little scared, or maybe you're a little depressed and worried, but you're still living the way that you were living when you were in the summer season. So we let the seasons take place through us, right? And I just don't get stagnant. Now, if I do get stagnant, that's when chaos comes. But my chaos always has a purpose. If chaos comes, things needed to be changed yesterday, right? That happened with a relationship I was in 2 years ago, right? I was stuck in it, and I knew that's the tell is I knew it wasn't going to work out. I knew it, I felt it, and then I started to see it. But I was too comfortable, and I didn't want to deal with the discomfort of painful feelings on my part and on her part. So chaos had its way, and the relationship blew up in an unfancy fashion, okay? Now it's still all love with the other party concerned, all love all the time, right? But that chaos needed to happen. In the Vedic worldview, we call that the destruction operator. And listen, I am a kindergarten student as far as it comes to the Vedic worldview, the meditation that I practice. Vedic meditation works on a mantra. You get it. I talk about it all the time. And shout out to Cody. He just got trained up. He's part of the crew now. He's saturated in source and he's meditating, man. And that's all I ever wanted, man, would have FTG. My number one goal when starting FTG is this, and it's still this: to spark spiritual thought and spark spiritual action. That's it. And if one person only started meditating because of the practice we talk about on here, then FTG's done what it's supposed to done. Close the camera, just hit end recording, we're good, right? Anyways, back on script. So the Vedic worldview, and this nods back to the seasons that we were just talking about. So it works in threes, right? Life works in threes. We got creation, maintenance, and destruction, which is the essence of our life, right? We're born, we're created, and then we go into maintenance. The body maintains for however long it decides to maintain, and then it is destroyed and it goes back into the earth from which it came. We'll look at the wave the same way. Look at the ocean. It creates a wave, which a wave, the only thing that is curved ocean. The wave maintains for as long as the wave decides to maintain, and then it is destroyed and goes back into which it came from. We are parallel with the function of nature, capital N, right? We are parallel. Everything that's going on inside of us and the change, all that stuff is happening outside your door right now. Okay. So I was watching this video. Tom Knowles, THOMKNOLES. He studied under Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who is credited for taking Vedic meditation and the Vedic worldview to the Western world, to us. He trained the Beatles, just for a mild name drop, okay? The Beatles song, Ja Guru Dev, which means I honor the teacher within you, okay? Or I pay homage to the teacher that brought you to where you are right now. I think that's it. Tom Knowles teaches my teacher, or trained and taught my teacher, Matt Cardone, okay? So naturally, he's got a YouTube channel. Just look him up, Tom Knowles. He's in a fucking whole nother world. So some of the stuff he says is gnarly, but people write in questions and then he answers them like little tidbits, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever. I forget what the question was, but he was talking about stagnation, where people get paralyzed through whatever human emotion is going on, and they stop performing action, right? And stress is usually the mayhem maker in all this thing. It has a heavy iron hand, and it just slowly compresses your spine like this. And then you wake up one day and you tweak your back like I fucking did today, which is super sick. So I got up out of a chair, okay? A chair. Stagnation in nature invites the destruction operator, okay? Nature only always supports evolution. Now, I'm not talking about Darwin, and when I say evolution, I'm not separating that from God. It's actually completely included, right? So evolution in the manner of I'm growing and developing constantly, shedding off old layers of myself. Right, the snake has to shed its skin or it dies. The caterpillar has to shed the cocoon or it dies in the cocoon that was trying to make it a butterfly. If the snake doesn't shed its skin, it dies. The skin that's keeping it protected from all the other elements and predators, right? The thing that is there to resurrect us, if we don't let it operate the way it wants to operate, right, and we get in the way, it can destroy us. So he was talking about stagnation, right, where we try to hold on to one of these levels of creation, maintenance, and destruction. And so this supports like the chaos thing that I was talking about. I stopped evolving because I was in this relationship and I knew that it wasn't for me and that it wasn't for her. And I stopped performing action to support that evolutionary process, which means I stopped operating in God's will. I stopped flowing with the river and tried swimming upstream, right? Effort was expended. I remember actually being tired all the time. I remember coming home from work. I would sit on the couch, do my second meditation. And the purpose of Vedic meditation, what it does is dismantles years of stored and present stress twice a day. I'm just realizing this now, actually. And when you start to dial into this practice and you do it daily, what happens is you get renewed energy. It's called adaptation energy. You start to adapt to a different level of yourself because stress, like I said, that heavy iron hand, it just compresses you. So I'm in this relationship not listening to this knowing, not listening to this intuition, this inspiration in spirit. I wasn't listening. And as a result, stress built. So I'd sit there, drop into practice. And when I come out of meditation, I would just fall asleep and sleep for like an hour or two. That is evidence. You don't resist what the body wants to do after a meditation practice. You let the body's intelligence take care of itself, right? But that was evidence that it was like, we are so stressed that we need to sleep. So at any rate, the destruction operator came and did what it is there to do, which is destroy, disrupt, and make change present where you can't run from it. And I remember talking to one of my spiritual advisors, and I was like, and he was basically saying like that, like he knew in a way. He wasn't like, oh, I knew this was going to happen. He was just, at any rate, what I said to him, I was like, jokingly, I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me, And he goes, you knew. You knew 6 months ago before this happened. And I was like, damn, you're right. That's when pain starts. That's stagnation. When you know you should be moving, but you don't because it's too uncomfortable. Okay, have fun. And so when chaos comes into my life now, because of this experience, and many others, when you look back, it always has a purpose. And there's always love to find in it. Always love to find in it. And right after that, I was still saying, everything always works out for me, right? The universe, God, is always conspiring for me. What does conspiring mean? It means to create a plan in secret. I don't know if in secret's a thing, but the universe, God, is always conspiring for me, which means it's Shakespeare and I'm Romeo. And it's always the main concern is, how can I make him the best Romeo this audience has ever seen? Now, it's only when I demand new lines. I don't want to deal with Juliet. She's a bitch. She doesn't remember her lines. Someone get this fucking prop out of here. This audience sucks, right? I get involved and I try to Shakespeare myself. I play God. Let God be God. Let Shakespeare be Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a genius. I can't do what Shakespeare does. If I try, you know what the audience says? Boo, this place sucks. You suck, get him off stage, right? Boo. Because I mess up the show. I'm too concerned with how the show's going rather than how can I be the best Romeo I can be and give to this show fully. So when I'm not listening and I become stagnant, chaos comes in, because that's where God operates in love just as much as creation and just as much as maintenance. There is just as much love from God in the universe in the summer as there is in the winter. The only issue is when I cling to summer and hope it never ends, and I resist winter and hope it never comes, right? That's going like this. Grab here, push away from here. Look at that. I'm getting pulled apart, man. I can't receive shit. It's like that old torture where they tie you to a horse and just pull your body apart, right? I don't walk around life like that. So we'll think about like there was a lot of nods from the universe. Hey, chaos is coming. Chaos is coming. Chaos is coming. You should probably listen to your intuition and do something about it right now and perform action, right? That's also in the Vedic worldview. We rest in our practice in this bliss consciousness or the kingdom of heaven. We get saturated in source, 20 to 30 minutes. And then we go out and we give ourselves to the world. We go out and we perform action. We don't resist and hide in meditation and try and bliss out. Saturate ourselves in becoming these blissful, joyful individuals, knowing that the universe is always conspiring for me, right? Trying to give me and lift me up because it needs inwardly reorganized individuals to express its goodness in the world. It's got enough, evil's got enough evil already. This universe is conspiring, trying to get us to their side. Like, yo, the world needs you, man. The world needs the recovered you. The world needs the resurrected you. The world needs the joyful, loving you. Come on, it's time. If I let this unimaginable, ineffable power do that, God starts to show off a little bit, right? And it's almost like when we can fully let go and fully get out of the way, God's almost like, all right, watch me work, man. Watch me work. I've been waiting for you to get out of the fucking way, right? What freedom when you can just let go. So at any rate, chaos. When you're driving down 95, which is just nuts in and of itself down here, South Florida, which is 95, our highway down here. And there's a few different warning signs, okay, when you're driving on the highway. We got the light reflectors. So when you drift into another lane, you know you're changing lanes. It goes, okay? And then when you get to the edge of the road, you got a white line. And you know, okay, we're getting off the highway here, right? Let's pay attention. Now, you may start to fall asleep at the wheel, which means I'm walking around life blindfolded, not listening to my intuition, going earmuffs, la, 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 I can't hear. I know I need to take action and get out of this relationship, but la, 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 right? I don't want to do it. And then you have the you're fucking asleep, wake up divots, right? If you ever ran over those on the edge of the highway, they go, grrr, and they shake the whole car. Now, if you're really asleep and that doesn't wake you up, the last house on the block is a guardrail, is stationary metal. That's the last house on the block. So you crash, total your car, spin out, whatever. You wake up and you don't know what the fuck happened. What happened was love expressed as chaos. And you may not know right in that moment that that's love. I didn't know in that moment that that was love. It took about 6 to 8 months to look back on that chaotic moment to realize that that was love, you know? There's just as much love in the guardrail as there is in the middle of the highway. And I've hit a lot of guardrails. That's the only reason I know that. I'm not posturing or, theorizing. That's my fucking experience, And so obviously the goal is to learn from that and not need to maybe hit as many guardrails, and the destruction operator can look a little bit different. So the chaos in my life is always good natured. Now, I'm not saying that I'm bringing in chaos and I have a good nature for it. Chaos, the destruction operator, it lands on my doorstep for a reason. And what I found is it is good natured. Chaos is love, and love is chaos, period. Now, it may not feel like that, but it doesn't matter what I feel. What matters is what the universe sees, what God sees when he zooms out and he sees all these little people, right, running around, worried, hitting guardrails, in relationships they shouldn't be in, not devoting themselves to recovery, getting their lives together, worrying about stressing about money, I'm never going to have enough, and blah, 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 all this stuff, right? Americans, right? We got it pretty fucking good. That outsider perspective, that zoom out perspective, that's what matters. Because like Michael Singer in Untethered Soul, he talks about letting go of your preferences. Preferences, I would have preferred if my Instagram live worked and you guys could have chimed in and gave some topics and it could have been interactive. I would have preferred that, okay? And I would have not preferred that I had to pick up an extra shift for one of my coworkers that's on vacation. Michael Singer talks about we even let go of preferences. We let go of what is bad and what is good. Oh my God, I can't, my Instagram live isn't working. Now these guys can't interact. Oh, this fucking sucks. Who says that it sucks? Oh, me? What do you know? A lot. Okay, where are you right now? On a rock spinning around, third one from the sun in a solar system, which is in the Milky Way galaxy, which is in the universe, which is in who the fuck knows. So tell me what else you know, right? So how can I say one thing is bad and one thing good? And then someone in the back of the crowd goes, how could God be real when kids get cancer? Tell me how God could be real if a Boston Marathon bombing happens. And that's just a very kindergarten outlook, which is to say that death and destruction should not be a part of life because I say so. We don't know. I mean, I've seen so many videos, think about the Wounded Warrior Project, okay? We'll look at a soldier, and we can touch on the Boston Marathon bombing, is soldiers devote themselves and take on a great act of service. They literally strip themselves of individuality, get their head shaved, wear the same uniform, hold the same guns with the same purpose, right? They devote themselves to a greater cause. That's how good men become great. Good men become great when they devote themselves to something greater than themselves. And that's what the military is, okay? In my eyes, okay? Now, there's been so many sons and daughters over there who have been, or wherever the war is, right, that have got stepped on an IED or got ambushed in their Humvee and they have a limb blown off, right? And we come back and we say, how tragic this man. He can never walk again. He wakes up in the hospital. He hates everything. He tells little Johnny and his wife, don't come in here. I don't want you to see me like this. Just leave me. I'll never be able to play football with Johnny. I only have one, right? And full self-pity. As he should, right? I mean, he woke up and his life changed in an instant. He was one man until that time, and now his life is going to look completely differently because of chaos, right? As the story goes on, he's willing to like go do some physical therapy. They put him in the pool, build strength back up in the thigh, and then they give him a prosthetic, and all his life starts to change. And he has to learn how to rely on people. He makes his house handicap accessible. He has to accept the fact that he may be never be able to run with his kid like the way he used to, right? His whole world has changed in a moment. But the only thing that will allow that soldier with a lost limb to find peace is to accept the reality that he has lost a limb. Now, if he does not accept that reality, where is he running to? The fact is that life has moved and it has changed, and it expressed itself as you no longer have a leg. The only business to get down to at that point is radical letting go, right? And I'm speaking on things that I've seen and interviews that I've seen. So then we get a soldier who finds goodness in this and creates something like what's known as the Wounded Warrior Project, okay? I've seen interviews of men who have 2 arms gone, and they say, do you ever think what your life would be like if this didn't happen? Is there any regret about going into the military? And they say, I don't regret this at all because it has turned me into the man that I've always wanted to be. But when it initially happened, the world, we said that's bad. That shouldn't happen to him. The guy who has no arms just said he's grateful, right? Because now when other soldiers wake up, he's at their bedside with a prosthetic and he says, don't worry about it. I've been where you are, and I'm going to shoulder up next to you and show you how to do this. Right? God pulled a flower out of what he initially thought was ash. This is the power of God. This is the power of the universe. That's why Michael Singer talks about letting go of my preferences, which is like the story of the Chinese farmer. I don't really know it by heart, but it basically works on the good and the bad, And whatever, I'll rip through it real quick. So you got this, this is in China. You got this farmer, he's got a son, right? And his horses, he runs a ranch, right? And all the horses get lost, right? And the neighbors come over and he goes, oh my God, the neighbors, this is so bad. How are you going to eat? Yada, 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 yada. One of his horse got away, right? And he goes, yeah, I don't know. I can't clock it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Who knows? The next day, the horse that got away comes back with 6 other wild horses that they now get in their barn that they get to tame and make more money. They can up their product, all that stuff. So the neighbors come, they're like, oh my God, this is so good. You're going to have so much more profit this year. And the farmer in his humility goes, yeah, I don't know, man. I can't gauge it. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. Okay. His son, the farmer's son, was trying to break one of the horses so they can turn him into the horse to work for them, right? His son gets thrown off and he breaks his leg. The neighbors come, oh my God, this is so bad. You're too old to farm. Your son was your main worker. You're going to lose all this money. And he goes, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I can't clock it yet. The next day, the military comes in and they're taking all the young kids, right, at a certain age to go and fight in their military. Well, the kid's got a broken leg, so he can't fight. The military moves on, right? So neighbors go, how lucky are you? And the farmer says, yeah, I don't know, maybe. I can't gauge it. He had completely let go of his preferences. He completely let go of good and bad. We don't know what's good and bad because we can't see the whole fucking story. And there's relief in that. We can't see the end of the chapter yet. We may realize on the deathbed, we may realize when we drop back into source, but we don't know. When we can accept the fact that we don't know, there's joy and levity that comes with that. Because I'm letting Shakespeare be Shakespeare. The genius that Shakespeare is. What relief. It gives me permission to be everything that I want it to be. When I let life be life, life then gives me the permission to animate and be the greatest version of myself because I'm getting rid of this stress, of this pressure, this heavy iron hand on my shoulder that's compressing my spine, right? I'm throwing, right? Christ says it like this, for my yoke is easy, right? Cast your cares upon the Lord, for his yoke is easy and has no burden. I'm paraphrasing, but cast your cares upon God, right? Let go. Cast your cares upon God. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough worries of himself. Why, do you see the birds of the air storing up in barns or the lilies in the field wondering if they're going to... No, the bird just is the bird. It doesn't worry about storing up food and making sure it has enough, right? Let go. At the end of the day, let go. Turn over. Give up. What are you trying to hold on to? Give 150% effort, but let go of the story. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but I don't know. And we can dance in that I don't know. Anyways, 125. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to get involved with the podcast, what we're going to start doing, if my phone works next week, is going live before every episode, having people chime in, see what they want talked about, and then we can rip off of that. If you want to send in a voice memo, you can send it into fromthegravepodcast@gmail.com. If you have suggestions for guests, topics, questions, whatever, if you send us in a voice memo for a question or whatever, we'll play it on the episode and respond to it in real time here. And you can hear your wonderful voice on the episode when it airs. And get on Instagram because that's where I'm going to be notifying all the drops for the new merch I've been creating by these hands right here. And we're going to have some fun, man. We're following our heart this year and we're letting that mind talk shit. And then we're making heart-based decisions. We're letting the mind talk shit and we're making heart-based decisions throughout each moment, throughout each day. And we're going to have some fun doing it. Guys, again, thank you so much for listening. We love your support. Every share, every post, every comment, every review, we appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to YouTube yet, get over there and hit that subscribe button. All right, peace.